What's up, my dudes? A video a day will keep that motherfucking doctor away, you know what I'm saying? So, we got the whips for Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 2. This is something I wanted to go in here and really critically talk about because I think it's super important in these motocross games. Some people seem to think it's not that important of a thing, but I tend to lean towards that it is really important just simply because it's not just the whip side of it, but it's the whole in-air physics period side of it. And the whips make a big difference. And when I say whips, I mean scrubs, I mean pump scrubs, I mean every sort of variation of how you can sort of steer that bike coming off of a jump face. I'm not just talking about like standard ass whips. I'm talking about every single aspect of it. And one thing with pretty much all of these milestone games, even starting from the early days of the MXGP Pro games, is a lot of times you almost can't even really test their whip systems very good because there's not even any big enough jumps to really test it on, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But it's like even if they had a super amazing whip system to their games, you couldn't even really test it. You couldn't even really see how good it actually is. In all honesty, just because of the way their tracks are designed and their jumps and everything about it, even some of their compound style tracks, they're still just lackluster style jumps. Pretty much the biggest jumps you'll see in any milestone game period, whether it be Supercross or motocross, is going to be your custom made content and your track editor for the first official Monster Energy Supercross game, which is not even really milestone tracks. You get what I'm saying? It's just like some people just went in there and totally put together crazy big, humongous quad, you know, type of Supercross rhythm lines that would never be in a normal Supercross track in a milestone game, and they've kind of put that together to make that sort of bigger jump style feeling to it. But basically, the whips on this new Supercross 2 game, I mean, I was a little concerned by it, man. I say a little, I was a lot concerned. I mean, I'm being, you know, completely dead on frank with you, bro. Like, I'm really, really concerned about the whole in-air whip side of everything for Supercross 2, the official video game. And I'm hoping I'm totally wrong. I mean, I really hope I'm just seeing it wrong, or it's going to be different in the way it is, but I just don't see how it could be all that much different from now until the game comes out. I mean, we got, what, less than a month till the game comes out? I mean, man. So we've seen, basically what I'm talking about here is, so basically all we've really seen is the Eli Tomac gameplay, right? So we had that, and then it went to the, like, riding in the cornfield gameplay, and then now at this point we've got some random people that's gotten somewhat early type of gameplay on there. You know, some people that played it at the real life Supercross events and stuff like that. So we've got a little bit of gameplay showing stuff here and there, and I just still have that concerning feeling where it just seems like the whips are more like a MXGP Pro style whip, but just like slightly tuned upon. You know what I mean? It doesn't, I mean, the only way you're ever really going to fix the whips and the in-air physics on these milestone games is you're going to have to scrap that shit. You're going to have to totally, and I've seen a lot of people commenting this on some of my videos, and I 1000% agree with you. It's almost to the point where it's like unfixable. You know what I mean? It's not as simple as just like tuning it and kind of fixing this, that, here and there, whatever. You know, they've got to almost start from scratch for it to ever really be like that true what you expect in a motocross game. You know what I mean? That true like whip system where it's not just like you're hitting one button and it's playing an animation. You know, you can actually do different types of whips and not just the same old same every single time you come off a jump face. That standard ass, like, you know, the most standard kind of rotation you could ever have in your life over coming off of a jump face. Good God, MXGP Pro was the shittiest game. Oh, man. Like, what the hell was this game? But either way, so that particular aspect of them taking that from MXGP Pro, it just really makes me nervous, really worries me about it, because it's almost like the whole game in that sense. If you really look at gameplay of Supercross 2, the official video game, you'll notice like a lot of it actually has like deep down, deep-rooted MXGP Pro looking physics to it. A lot of the game seems to have that. Way more, I feel like, than like the first official Monster Energy Supercross game, which is not necessarily a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Especially not in-air wise. So, but it's just one of those things. I think at some point they're going to have to just totally scrap that shit and it's like start all the way over instead of just, you know, kind of doing these real slight improvements to it every year. It's never really going to get to where it has to be. It's just impossible. Like, it's not going to happen. And I guess with them making the games so damn frequently, they just don't have the time to scrap completely scrap a physics system and try to rework it from the bottom up. So I don't know if you'll ever see that from a Milestone game. But, like, for instance, I feel like reflex physics are totally different than like a live style physics and stuff like that, and are totally different than MX vs. ATV Supercross physics. It almost seems like they did totally rework that shit from the ground up, even though they shouldn't have. They should have kept more of that reflex feel, but it is what it is. But I mean, the Milestone games, they have a very, very similar physics system all the way through, even though, yes, you do have more movement nowadays on the bikes than you did back in like MXGP 1 and 2, right? Which that's just something you would expect, but it still has a very, very similar like overall engine physics feel to it that it's always had to it. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if they'll ever improve on some of the things that they've really just done shitty in the past. I don't know if it's even possible with the current engine system that they're using. I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. But the whole thing with the whiffs, like, look at how identical it freaking whips every time I come off the jump face, bro. Like, there's just no, there's no fucking leaning on the rider. What the fuck? Like, damn it. Do I even have to come in here and say this? Holy shit. Some of you people that defend this, you are so stupid. Like, you are so stupid. I'm literally sitting here wanting to try to whip and actually lean with my rider. You know what I mean? Like, actually try to lean back, lean to the side, make it do a different whip, and the rider literally won't move at all. He won't even fucking move. It's like he's got a stick up his ass. He just literally, looks like the rider just cannot move. It's that stiff, stagnant bullshit that they started having in the MX vs. ATV Supercross days and damn near killed that franchise. That's exactly what's going on with these Milestone games right now. With motocross games. That's exactly what's going on with it. It's too stiff. The rider feels like you can't move him, so then therefore you don't become one with the rider, one with the bike, and then you can't make your own whip style. You can't do any of that shit. Like, I'm sitting here trying to lean with my rider. He literally won't move in the air. Like, I can't get my rider to even move in the fucking, that's the most your rider will move in the air at all. He'll do a little hump shimmy sham, and that's about it. He won't do anything else. Like, good God, you people that don't see the issue in that, ugh. I feel sorry for you. I honestly do. I feel sorry for you because apparently you have no idea what an actual good arcade motocross game is whatsoever. If you think this is like decent physics or whatever, you know, you're so lost. You're just so clueless. It's so bad that it's like, that's why I have to come in here and say it like I say it. You know, some people think I'm just like hater mentality. Oh, I'm doing so bad for these motocross games and these communities and stuff, and all I ever do is talk negatively, and Spencer, we just want these motocross games to do well and succeed, and you're trying to shit on them, and you're making it worse for all of the motocross community. But not that I've made like 70 plus custom tracks for MX Simulator for free for everybody, and all of the guides I've made on these motocross games, but you know, that's besides the point. But I'm just trying to get at, like, bro, when it's this bad, it's just unacceptable. It's so unacceptable that I feel like I can't do anything other than rant about it. That's how bad it actually is. Like, how in the hell is this how in-air physics could ever be in a motocross game? Like, what the fuck is it? If this is what you come up with before you release a AAA motocross game for full price $60, if this is how your fucking rider feels in the air, you can't move, every time you come off the jump face it does the same damn thing, if that's where you're at, then you're not ready to release your AAA titled motocross game. Period. It ain't ready yet, dog. Quit trying to rush shit out the door. Like, this is so unacceptable in the motocross. And what it's doing is it's numbing all of these new motocross people's minds into, they don't even understand what good arcade motocross physics are anymore because everything's so shitty now. They don't even understand what good in-air physics are in an arcade motocross game. So you see how it's like almost brainwashed and mind-numbed all these newer people to these motocross games, and I honestly think that's what a lot of them are that comment, like, that just totally defend these milestone in-air physics and shit and act like it's no big deal and, oh, they're not that bad, crap like that. I literally think that's people that this is all they've ever played, so they don't know anything else. They don't know any difference. You know what I mean? They don't know how good in-air physics can actually be in an arcade motocross game. But I'm really concerned about Supercross 2, the official video game, because it looks very, very similar to this. When they come off the jump face, it looks identical. Does not look like you have any difference of, like, turn up, turn down, whip it sideways, pancake it, get under the bike, turn around backwards, whip the back end all the way out. There's so many different fucking variations to how you can whip in real life, and that's why it's fun. That is the literal reason why whipping is so much fun. If in real life, every time anyone ever whipped, if it was just like playing the same exact animation and everybody whipped the exact same, no one would fucking do it because it wouldn't be fun. So why do you think that would be fun in a video game? Just like you're hitting a button. They might as well have the damn whips on a literal button. Like, they might as well have the whips on A or B on your controller or some shit. Because it does not do anything different. The fact that they're on actual thumbsticks. It does not do anything different. I mean, you could literally put it on a button and it would be the same difference as having it on the thumbsticks on MXGP Pro. So, but the whole thing about the first official Monster Energy Supercross game that's slightly different is I just think that game overall has a less janky feeling than MXGP Pro, and I feel like the whips are a little bit more fluent, a little bit more natural. But even still, the first official Monster Energy Supercross game, they're still just as much of a, like, just hit a button and play an animation, you know what I mean, as they are MXGP Pro. I just think they feel a little bit better because you're a little bit looser on the bike and you feel like you can actually whip it over a little bit farther. And I feel like you can start the whip a little bit sooner on the first official Monster Energy Supercross game without it just totally glitching out and wrecking you off the bike instantly. You know, that kind of feeling to it. And to make their whips better, they're going to have to make it to where it's got that whole improvement of where you don't just get shot out of the stadium by a sniper whenever you whip too far over. You know what I mean? Like when you start trying to lean too far backwards or too far forwards, you know how on these milestone games, how you'll just pop right off the bike for no apparent reason whatsoever. It used to do that in the really old motocross games. That's a super outdated thing. It should not do that in a motocross game, in my opinion. You shouldn't just fall off the bike in the air for no reason. Breathe, Spence, breathe. It's just so, like, it's such a disgrace. It is such a fucking disgrace. These games, the physics systems in these games, I just can't even fathom it. Like, I can't even believe this is even a thing. But yet, people want to act like this is top of the line AAA motocross games. You know, people want to act like this is like, oh my gosh, these milestone games are just so great. Oh my goodness. Like, bro, you're getting tricked is what's happening. You're getting tricked by the graphics. You're getting tricked by all the advertisement. You're getting tricked by all this fucking having this modern gear in a console motocross game. You are getting literally tricked when you're thinking these milestone games are some amazing, you know, next level games. Like, you're getting tricked, bro. There's no other way to say it. But most people, they don't even play an arcade motocross game long enough to give two hoots about the way the actual bike feels. You get what I'm saying? Like, most people just don't play motocross games like that. But that still doesn't inherently change how shitty they feel. Like, I don't know any other way to say that. But they've got to do some massive crap with their in-air physics. If I was over there working at Milestone, that would be my number one thing I would be working on right now is in-air physics in their next Supercross game, Supercross 2, the official video game. That would be absolutely number one. I would throw all of my resources into that to have that fixed before I did anything else. Anything. It is the most critical thing in these milestone games right now. The in-air physics. Now, the ground physics aren't just, oh my god, just so bad, terrible. Like, they're bearable. You know what I mean? They're okay, even though they're a lot more janky in MXGP Pro, which is kind of weird. But, you know, they're not terrible, but, you know, that in-air side of stuff is such a big deal to motocross, and you have to have that. Like, you can't just have a motocross game with okay ground physics and complete ass out-of-date in-air physics. It just does not work. Like, we've already seen all this play out in the MX vs. ATV series. This is what happened after when they worked into Alive and then worked into, you know, MX vs. ATV Supercross. Like, we've already seen this. Everyone quit buying the games. They could barely sell any copies. You know, that's because you could barely move on the bike in the air. There was, like, pretty much no whip system to those games. It's so damn stagnant. You're just like a stiff rock on the bike when you come off the jump face in the air. There should never be another motocross or supercross game like that. Ever. There should never. After Reflex, that should have never, ever, ever have been even remotely a possibility of a motocross or a supercross game being like that. I just can't even believe that it's even possible to have one like this in the modern day era. You know what I mean? Then you can see that in the gameplay. It's like it'll shock your ass when you go in there and actually look back at the way the MXGP Pro fucking in-air physics and whips and stuff, and the way the rider actually looks on the bike and how stiff he kind of looks on the bike. You know, the whole stick up his ass kind of thing. And you go look at some of that newer gameplay, you can almost side by side compare it. I mean, it's literally that bad. It is literally that bad when it comes to the in-air side of stuff. So, I don't know, dudes. I'm thinking we're going to get a shitty in-air physics on Supercross 2, the official video game. It's going to be shitty-ass whips. That's just what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you're not going to see a big improvement on that until the next game or the next game. And the hell, it may not even happen then. But I think they're stuck in a hard place right now because, like, what do they do? They're either going to have to take a couple years off to totally reinvent their in-air physics, start from scratch on that shit again, or damn near scratch, you know what I'm saying, or something, because they can't just keep releasing 2 games a year, 3 games a year, but still totally reinvent their in-air physics. But the thing about that is, though, is once they get it to a decent point, then they can run off of that engine in-air physics system and keep improving upon that throughout. But the problem is it's the base of the in-air physics filling in these milestone games are such trash that you can't even hardly work with it. You know what I mean? You can't even hardly do anything with it. So that's what's just so frustrating about it, so, like, annoying about it. But yeah, heaven forbid you allow us to actually hit a triple right there, or maybe even a quad. Heaven forbid. Nope, can't do that. You gotta hit these standard-ass, small, little double fucking bullshit. What is this rhythm section? The most boring-ass, stupid rhythm section on a Supercross track I've ever seen in my life on the game that doesn't even have any other Supercross tracks. Heaven forbid you make it like an actual Supercross track. No, you make it more like a damn amateur local vibe motocross track on the motocross-only video game that you already had to make it even more repetitive than you had before, and then still have not even that big of jumps on the game to even test out your whip system, probably because your whips suck complete ass, and you're not want people to really see the true feeling of your whip system. Oh my god, dogs. Like, it's just sad. It really is. Because this, you know why it's so sad? Because the graphics of this game and some of the on-the-ground feelings and certain stuff like that, and some of the things that they're going with, I mean, it has potential. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really, these games do have potential, and it's just sad to see it be so lacking and so struggling in certain areas. It's just sad for the entire motocross community. It really is. Oh, what are those? What is this? Like, good God. But either way, I appreciate you guys watching the little videos. I know I get on here, rant, get in this negative Nelly kind of mindset, and it's just hard not to be like this when it gets like this. I don't know any other way to say it. But it would be a disservice for me to lie or kind of white lie about this or not tell you the full truth about this for the motocross community. You know, it would be a disservice for me to act like this is okay or this is good or not rant on this. I mean, some of you guys that aren't, some of you real motocross YouTubers out here that aren't coming out and really saying this shit and really voicing your opinion, you're actually a disservice to the motocross community by not doing that, because you're making it seem like everything's just A-okay, everything's just all right, and I honestly don't think you motherfuckers really believe that. I think you're just trying to protect your sub count, which is pitiful. You need to grow a sack and actually say what you fucking mean about this shit. That way we can get a band of people saying how we really feel about these games. That way Milestone has no other choice but to fix it. See, right now, they don't have to do shit. Ain't nobody out here talking real about this shit other than me. So it's just like, I say other than me, there's probably one or two of you guys out there that are keeping it real, saying it like it is. I'm sure there is. But I'm just talking majority, right? Majority of YouTubers just don't, they're not real. They don't say real shit. Because they're fucking necks on the line. You get what I'm saying? If they say something really opinionated or really negative about something, then they know they're running the risk of losing subs. They know they are. And I know I am when I say this. But being real is, I'd rather fucking die real than live fake. Motherfucker. That's all I got to say. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.